cancel me all you want. I don't think you should be on this freaking darn game if you don't have a microphone. You can cancel me for that, I don't care. It's just my opinion. Go ahead and cancel me.
What's up? So normally when I upload a video, I will have my friends go back and watch it for me as kind of a quality check thing. And I asked them what they thought of it. And one of my friends suggested the fact that I look very uptight and stuff like that when I am on camera. So he was like, how about you just like back up, get one of your chairs, just sit back, relax, and get something to drink. Make it look like it's a little one-on-one conversation with your channel. So that's what I decided to do. Got my little drink with me right here. Okay, I'm not mixing Powerade and Sprite again. But today I want to talk about an artist that I've known for a while now. I've been a fan of his, and he recently released an album, and that of course is Eminem. So Eminem, when it comes to albums recently, and I say recently as in the past maybe like several years, he hasn't been doing very good. It all started with Revival. I think it's called Revival. I can't remember. Where he released it, trying to do something kind of new, and it crashed and burned horribly. And then he came back with Kamikaze, which was just like alright. It wasn't very good besides the fact that, he dissed MGK and all that. And then he did Music to Be Murdered By, which was okay, but the B-side wasn't very good. And now he's releasing this album. So leading up to the album, of course, he's doing a lot of promotion about the fact that this is the death of Slim Shady. He's gonna bring back the old Slim Shady just to kill him on camera. And that was the appeal of it. He was going to give the fans what they used to like about him, which in my honest opinion is never really a good sign when an artist or something like that decides to bring back the old person. Because the thing is, when you do that, you have to also take into account that times change and you change as well. Sometimes it can kind of work, but I think artists as a whole need to evolve to stay relevant and to stay good. You need to constantly improve. It's not a good idea to go back to what used to work because it won't always work. But what did I think about the album itself? It's okay. He seems to have a trend of doing this, but it's okay. Fuel with JID was really good. It was unironically like my favorite song that I've heard in a while now, just because he popped off. He like really popped off. And then Eminem wasn't as good as him, but he was still able to catch up, and he had the funny P. Diddy line, which apparently he thinks everybody is getting up in arms about, but I've only seen like 1 or 2 tweets about it. But the rest of the album was just okay. It wasn't bad. Nothing stood out about it that really made me like, oh, this is an awful song. Like some of his lyrics and stuff like that were a little too corny, but nothing really stood out to me in a way that I was like, this is awful. This is really awful. It's just like most of the songs were all right or good, or just like, I completely forgot about within the next few minutes. But I think what's most interesting about this album, to me at least, is the fact that he keeps trying to say that he's going to get canceled for this. And it's this like, oh, try to cancel me. I dare you. I double dare you. Oh, you can't do it. You're too scared. But I'm uncancelable. And I don't know if he's getting like the wrong press or whatever, or the wrong like people telling him what's going on in the world, but nobody cares. Nobody has really been talking about how he's going to get canceled or how he should be canceled. They're all either talking about how they really like the album, or they think it's really okay, they don't like it, but nobody's talking about the fact that he's saying something that shouldn't be said. But interestingly enough, he's convinced himself that this should get him in trouble. Now, before I go further into this, I do want to kind of specify how I got into Eminem. I know I like to do this. I really like to talk about myself for some reason. But I first discovered Eminem because growing up, I wasn't really allowed to listen to a whole lot of rap or music that was explicit and stuff like that. So when I hit a certain age where I could start searching for my own music, a friend of mine suggested, hey, listen to Eminem. He's really cool. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I think this was around when Rap God was coming out. So that was one of the first songs I got introduced to him by. And it was awesome. Even to this day, I still love Rap God. It was edgy, it was really catchy, and the fact that he was just so fast and technical with his rapping ability, it was really, really cool to listen to. So because of that, I started listening to more Eminem songs, and from there, actually, he really introduced me to all types of other rap, which is funny because I grew up with this idea that white rappers were the best rappers because they had to stand out from the crowd, and now I can't think of a single white rapper that I actually really like besides maybe Mac Miller, but he's no longer with us, so I don't really think that counts. But as time has gone on, I've continued to like Eminem, but I'm no longer a fan of his. And this is where I think the issue of listening to Eminem's music comes into play. You see, to me, Eminem is like a really, really cool tech demo. You go to a convention and you see this really cool display of technology and you think to yourself, wow, that is so cool. This is like the most insane thing I've ever seen. And like, that's just incredible. And then you kind of forget about it, or you move on, or you ask like, oh, what else can it do? And you're like, well, that's it. Like, oh, well, that was cool. I know it sounds like I'm really undermining his career and stuff like that. I'm not trying to do that. He is one of the best rappers of all time. He deserves all the flowers he gets. But you really can't say he doesn't do that to himself. You see, when he was first coming into his career, it was the fact that he was rapping about all this edgy stuff. He was cursing so much, and he would talk about subjects like beating women and beating gay people and beating a lot of people, really. But then that slowly died out as the 2000s kept going on. And you saw him kind of transition into, oh, well, now I'm going to do like fast rap. And for several years, he kept trying to break his own record of rapping super, super fast. You had Rap God, and then you had, I think it was Lucky You, and then you had Godzilla. And then he would have several other songs where like the verses at the very end would be his like, you know, really fast rap part. So he's technically reinvented himself before. But I think, you know, maybe it comes with old age, but Eminem has kind of gotten into this groove where he doesn't really want to reinvent himself anymore. He's okay with just sticking to what he does. And the problem is that doesn't really grow an audience, and that doesn't tend to really keep an audience either. I know fans don't really like to admit it, but usually an artist will really come into their own when they do reinvent themselves, when they do actually like go beyond like what they were originally known for. Take for instance Kanye. Kanye started off with the soul sampling and the chipmunk music and all that, but then he went on to Graduation and it was more stadium music. Then he went on to 808s and it was non-rap like Heartbreak type. Then he went kind of back to rap, but in a more grand and just like chauvinistic way. Or take another rapper like Tyler the Creator, who started off almost kind of like Eminem with this like edgy feel to it, where he would just talk about like very perverse things. But as time went on, he kind of evolved. He went beyond that. But with Eminem, I know he's like in his old age now, and he's, you know, close to the end of his career, but it feels like he still kind of wants to keep going. But the problem is, he's not really doing anything new. And like I said, he's bringing back the old style of rap he used to do, along with this, you know, fast style as well. And he's really trying to stir up controversy by pointing out the fact that like, oh, look what I said in my new album, look what I said here and there and everywhere, and oh, I can't wait for them to try to come after me, and nobody's really doing anything.
You gonna cancel me, yeah? Gen Z me, bruh.
So all this to kind of come to my final conclusion for me, I honestly think he should retire. Again, his newest album is not really bad, and even like his last two albums before this one weren't even really that bad either. They were just kind of okay. But here's the problem. Eminem is considered one of the best rappers of all time, deservedly so. But he keeps trying to push himself more and more and more and more and more, to where it's more tainting his career than it is helping. You know, he keeps wanting to prove to everybody out there that he's still the greatest rapper and that he should not be messed with and that you can't forget about me. But that's really kind of done the opposite. Like, he doesn't need to bring up the fact that he's beat Machine Gun Kelly over and over and over again. Like, yeah, we know. We were there. We thought it was really cool. But the more you bring it up, the more we kind of realize that, yeah, he was like a B-list, you know, musician. Funny as it is that he's left the genre, he's left the genre. I don't think he's mentioned you at all in a while. But you continue to bring him up to try to remind us of the good old days. And it's like, yeah, cool. But now you're diminishing it. And also with every new album that he comes out that is either okay or subpar, he's continuing to bring down the average score in my head that all his albums have. He has really good albums, but with each new one that he continues to try to improve and prove himself, he's already proven himself. So as sad as it is, retire, you know? Leave a good career as it is, a good career. I don't think he should completely disappear from music and stuff like that. Like, a single every once in a while is fine, a feature, or maybe even like a grand album that comes out, like, eventually, you know, towards, you know, the end of his career with several years in between the last one. That's totally fine. But he keeps trying to come into the game like, you know, it hasn't changed. The game and the culture around rap has changed, but he continues to think that he needs to prove himself when he already has. I could be alone in this thought. Everybody else, you know, maybe does really like this album, but I don't know. I just feel like he's doing too much, especially for a guy that is one of the most highest selling rappers of all time. To me, I would just be cool with that. I would keep it as is. But he keeps trying to maximize something that is already really good. So yeah, at the end of the day, I don't say this with the idea that I think he's bad or I think he needs to retire because I hate his music or anything like that. No. I'm saying he should retire because I think he's ruining his career more than he's helping it by continuing to stay in a game that has gone beyond him. He should just stay with the good career he had and leave it at that. For example, Michael Jordan had a really good career with the Chicago Bulls. You know, he's a 6-time champion. He's, I believe, a 10-time scoring title champion, considered like the best player of all time. But then he comes back to play for the Wizards for 2 years. Now, those weren't bad years at all. Like, if you look at his stats and stuff like that, that's a pretty good stat line for a guy who's especially like, I think he was like 39, 40. But despite that fact, everybody in the world kind of like unanimously agrees that we forget about those last 2 years like they did not happen. So I think that as the same way I would for Eminem's career. Like, he had a really good career. He really proved himself and he really showed himself. He's really good at selling records. He's really good at rapping, and he's really good at making, you know, songs that like tell a story and stuff like that. Stan is one of my favorite songs of all time by him. But the more he continues to try to push it, it just comes across as very unnecessary. And not that it's bad, it's just like you were better than this. So stop trying to add on to it with just mediocre music. So that's all I wanted to really say on this topic. Just as a rap fan, you know, I still respect Eminem, and I don't have anything against the new album. I mean, like I said, I really liked Fuel. I added it to my playlists and stuff like that, but I almost kind of wish that it didn't come out, just because it just feels unnecessary. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Let me know if you like the new setup I have right here that I got going. And also, thank you for 100 subscribers. I didn't really think that my last video was going to do too well, especially since, like I've said in that video, YouTube might not want to promote a video that kind of bashes one of their features. But for some reason, I mean, it's doing pretty well, and everybody has been commenting on it, and it's gotten me tons of subscribers, so that's pretty cool. I said that I would do something for 100 subscribers, and I have an idea, but so far it's not working, and I don't want to spoil it just yet, in case I do let it work out, or it doesn't work out, so we'll have to see. But thank you again for 100 subscribers. But yeah, if you did like this video, please like, share it, subscribe, all that jazz, and continue to comment. Comments really help my videos out, and it really sees how you guys react to my content and stuff like that. If I say something stupid, please let me know. I am not past, you know, being all egotistical about my work and stuff like that. I have released stinkers in the past, like my first video, not very good audio quality. My second video, it's not, I almost wish I could delete it. So if you see something in this video that you agree with or disagree with, or if there's a change that you think I should make, then I am more than willing to hear it out, and I will almost always implement it, because I mean, I'm still new and I still have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, you see my thumbnails, I'm clearly new at this. So yeah, I should probably stop with the outro. Again, like, subscribe, and thank you for attending my endless thoughts. I'll see you.